Based on my contacts with Mr. Barr, both before and during his testimony at the Judiciary Committee hearings on his nomination, I believe that Mr. Barr understands and is committed to the dual responsibility of the Office of Attorney General. At the recent hearings on his nomination, I asked Mr. Barr about his view of the doctrine of separation of powers, and we discussed several areas where the exercise of power has caused tension between the executive and the legislative branches. We discussed, among other things, powers like the power to make war, a power the Constitution divides between the executive and legislative branches. This testimony indicates to me that Mr. Barr recognizes that Congress and the President must be united in the decision to commit substantial forces to armed hostilities abroad. And it reveals he understands the separate but shared nature of the war-making power. Mr. Barr was similarly reassuring when asked about other issues of executive authority. These specific examples give weight to Mr. Barr's testimony that, quote, his loyalty is to the separation of powers and the system, end of quote, and that his approach is to examine a claim of authority by, quote, taking the politics out of it, end of quote. But Mr. Barr does not unreasonably seek to create ambiguity where none exists, and he expressed a commitment to defending the Constitution's division of power between the branches of government, even where he personally may desire that the powers were allocated differently. In my view, this commitment to the public interest above all else is a critical attribute in an Attorney General, and I will vote to confirm Mr. Barr. Today, the question is whether Mr. Barr should be confirmed to be Attorney General, and I'm aware of no evidence that suggests that Mr. Barr acted in a way to delay or obstruct the investigation of BCCI. I told Mr. Barr at the hearings that the Judiciary Committee would remain attentive to the Department's handling of this investigation. And Mr. Barr, in a welcome change of previous Attorney Generals in my view, agreed to work with the committee to keep it informed on the progress of the investigation. For all the reasons I have mentioned today, and one other, I will vote for Mr. Barr to be Attorney General of the United States. And the other reason is, Mr. Barr, I believe, in my working with him in the past, is one who wishes to accommodate a co-equal branch of government and assist it in its responsibility of oversight. I look forward to working with Mr. Barr. I plan on supporting him, and I anticipate and hope that he will be a fine Attorney General. I yield the floor. Mr. President, I assume we have a new Attorney General. And I congratulate him, and I would suggest the absence of a quorum.
The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Adams.